Hello and welcome back. Let's continue with our covers. Let's take this away from here for the time being. Okay, so because this album is going to be very thick, I'm going to double the chipboard. Okay, so the two covers back and front will be 12 by 12, and your spine is going to be 12 by 3 and 1/4. I'm not going to give you the measurements of my spine because I don't want to confuse you guys. So your span is 3 1/4 by 12, and the album covers are the same for everyone, 12 by 12. And like I said, I'm going to double the covers. I'm going to use 2 pieces of chipboard. However, let's turn this way. If you notice, the chipboard exactly the same way as the cardstock. It has one side that is very pliable, very flexible, and then another side that it's less flexible, more resistant, right? Now, if you're going to glue your pieces of chipboard together on the same flexible side, in time they will bend eventually. In order to lessen the risk of that, what I did in my case, when I glued together the pieces of chipboard, I made sure that the pliable one, so I'm testing to see, okay, this is the pliable side, right? So then when I'm going to place the other piece on top, instead of gluing pliable against pliable, I glue the other way around. So it's resistant against pliable. Okay, so like this, basically they will keep each other in check. Same with the spine. One spine, this is the pliable one. It's not very, or look, see, this is the pliable one like this, but this is, no, sorry, this is the pliable one like this, and this is the less pliable one like this. Okay, or if we do like this will be more pliable, and this will be less pliable like this, same thing. So I'm going to glue pliable against less pliable. Okay, so now I already have the I put the tape on the entire back. So now I'm going to remove that, and bear with me. You can use wet glue to glue this together, but if you use a wet glue, don't use a water-based glue. It has to be more of one of those chemical smelly glues, because the water-based glue is going to make your chipboard warp. Again, that's from my experience with when using wet glue on chipboard. Normally, if I want to use wet glue on chipboard, to tell the truth, I am going to actually use wood glue. But again, the kind that is something that is not water soluble. So I'm going to use wood glue that it's more chemically driven, therefore it will have a smell. So I'm going to test again. So this is the pliable side, which means I'm going to put it on the side exactly like that. Okay, so which means that this one I want to glue it like this for the less pliable side. So I'm going to put this up. Okay, now I'm going to take my piece here like this, and I'm going to make sure that they are nice and equal, and I'm going to glue them down, and that's it, nice and straight. I have already done the same thing to my other cover. Okay, and now the last thing is the spine. So in this case there's no need to test, because when I cut, I make sure that when I cut one at your dimensions are 3¼ so I make sure that I cut with one side a 3¼ testing the pliable side and then again a 3¼ testing the non-pliable side. Okay. The next step is to put all of this on a piece of Tyvek, and my Tyvek is 12 inches, and because this is from an envelope, the width of the Tyvek will be is 9 and 5/8. Okay, so what I would like to do is to find the half of the Tyvek and mark it. Let's see, so if it's 9 and 5/8, so that would be a quarter. Oh, forget it, that's why I got this calculator. I've never been a fan of fractions. So 9 and 5/8 equals divided by 2 equals 4 and 13/16. That means 13/16. If it's 16/16, it would have been 5. So 13/16 would mean like 2 years. Okay, let's say 4 3/4. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just to get an idea of the half. Okay, so now I'm going to take my, see how it doesn't want to, it barely wants to bend because we glued it that way. So let's put this on the side. I'm going to right now apply glue on this. Oh, for some reason this moved a little bit. Let me make sure that I'm equal on all sides. Maybe it moved when I cut it. Yes, we make it. I don't want you to see the measurement. In my case, it moved when I cut it. See here, like there is this bit overlap, but the one underneath is the one that is exactly the measurement I need. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to apply tape on this side. Like this, I know I'm using the correct size. So I'm going to add tape on the entire back. And when I apply the tape, I'll allow the tape to be relaxed. I'm not stretching it. No, I just stretch it. I'll just apply it in a relaxed way. And what's good about having, and we are only going to apply the spine on this. What's good about using the Tyvek, because when you are ready to actually, that has exactly the same length um, as your covers. What happened to me in the past, if I was going to apply this straight on the cardstock I would wrap the book with, no matter how hard I tried, when I would apply this, the covers, somehow I would still be off. And that makes a difference, to tell the truth. But having this Tyvek and making sure we are straight to the spine on the Tyvek, when we are going to go into the covers, all we have to do is just to make sure we are exactly within the same length with the Tyvek. And like this, you know, you apply things equally. I'm going to mark the half of my piece. So I already marked approximately the half of my Tyvek. I'm going to mark the half of my piece. So like this will ensure that this will sit in the middle as much as possible. It doesn't have to be perfection. I don't want you to see my measurement. That's why I'm going off the camera, because like I said, I don't want to confuse you. And this be a little bit awkward because I'm not on a table right now. Okay. So in order to ensure that I'm putting this straight, I'm going to match the half mark on my chipboard with the half mark on my Tyvek. And that should make it nice and straight. You think, right? Because sometimes even that doesn't work. I only turned it because the half mark on my chipboard is more prominent on this side, and okay, I'm confident I'm okay here. So I'm gonna press here on this side, and then I'm gonna go on the other side, and hopefully this will be good. Although I should have done this differently, but too late now because it did move. Oh well. Yeah, it did move a little bit. And remember guys, I was telling you that you're gonna have half an inch space here on each side. Guess what? Now, when you are going to apply your covers, make sure that now between the covers and the spine, you are going to have a quarter of an inch space. And between half an inch that is going to be on the side of your spine and the quarter of an inch space, that goes your 3/4 of an inch space between the last page and the cover. Okay, because we are giving 3/4 of an inch spaces in between the pages, but what about the front and back? And this is how we get the front and back 3/4 of an inch space. So half an inch on your spine, and then and then a quarter of an inch here. That's your 3/4 of an inch. And this is kind of the rule of thumb when you do spines or for other projects. Whatever is your gusset in between pages, respect the same gusset to be between the last page and the cover. So right now I am going to apply a quarter of an inch tape. If you don't have a quarter of an inch tape, just, you know, draw a line. And this is the real deal, the original tape. So I'm going to use this. If I didn't have this tape in 1/4 of an inch, I would have used a pencil and use something else instead of, because like I said, I don't like the other double-sided tape. And actually I'm going to write to the company and let them know too. Very disappointed. Okay. So now when you are going to apply your chipboard pieces, you will have that quarter, this will help you to have that 1/4 of an inch space in there. Alrighty. Why do I keep saying alrighty? I don't use it in my daily life. I'm trying to think if I should apply. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to apply those pieces now. So I'm going to continue with double-sided tape, and this time I'm going to put it on the Tyvek. So be very careful because Tyvek has a mind of its own. It's really good at giving you a hard time. And I've just thought of something. In order to ensure that when I'm gluing these pieces, I'm going to be straight according to the spine, I'm going to take a ruler, and this one is pretty thick, so you're going to need a thick ruler. I just thought of it now. Let's hope it works. This one is like 1/8 of an inch thick, which I'm going to put it here at the end of my mat because I know that the mat is straight, right? And then I'm going to butt this against it, okay? So that when I apply these chipboard pieces, like if I'm applying, I'm going to put this all the way to the end, let's say. When I apply these chipboard pieces, I know that if I butt them against the ruler, I'm nice and straight all over. This is what I'm going to do. So in order to make sure this ruler doesn't move, I'm going to use some double-sided tape to keep it in place. And I hope it's not going to affect but anyway, I don't even use it for the numbers on it because I can never see them properly. goodness, 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 goodness. So I put it exactly against that the mat. And now I'm going to take my spine and I'm going to put the spine right against here so that when I have to glue this down, instead of having to be careful, be straight, be in line, be the 1/4 of an inch, etc. I know that if I butt this piece against this, I am nice and straight and in line with the spine. Okay, let's do that. So let's remove the tape backing. The only thing you have to take care of for this not to move around too much. I should have glued this down a little bit too. You know, it's not too late to do that because this is Tyvek. And this will be on the back if it's got some leftover glue on it. It's okay because it will be glued to the paper that you are using as a cover. So I'm applying a little bit of glue on the back of this to make sure it keeps it in place. So let's butt it against the ruler and press it down so it stays there in place. Good, good, good. I think I feel comfortable now. So I'm testing my piece to try and glue it down with a part that is less resistant. See, this one, it's a little bit because it's probably a flexible one on this side, like this. So now all I have to do is make sure that I'm not going over that 1/4 of an inch and that I'm butt it nice and straight on against my ruler, and then should assure me that I did a good job and that I'm nice and straight and in line with the spine, which I am. Good job. So let's check now. Yes, I'm nice and straight there, and if I'm nice and straight there, I'll be nice and straight here. Hooray! So now I'm turning this around and I want to put a little bit more double-sided tape on the back of this because for me this piece now is gonna hang off the table, so it might pull, so there are no surprises. So now I'm making sure that I'm butting it against the ruler, and I'm talking about the spine here. Okay, the ruler is in place, and now I'm bringing my other piece of chipboard. Okay, I'm testing, so this is the part less flexible, so it's going to be down like this. Let's remove the double-sided tape. So I said I'm gonna put it down like this. So I'm gonna try and pat it against the ruler and keep in mind that 1/4 of an inch space. I want to feel all of it against the ruler, and I do. And now I'm ready to go down. Yay! Let's double check. I'm nice and straight, top and bottom, and I am. Super. Okay. Let me remove this double-sided tape from the back. Now I'm going to burnish. And now I'm going to be ready to put all of this on the cardstock or on whatever material you are going to use in order to cover the cover. Oh, another good idea would be Craftex. If you have Craftex, use Craftex. And like this, you don't have to, oh cool, it didn't take the numbers off. Like this, you don't have to worry about putting cardstock together, combining cardstock in order to be able to create this cover. But like I said, I have some faux leather. The only thing that I'm not going to be able to show you is how I am going to cut that piece. So when I come back, I'm going to tell you what will be the size once it's cut, because I have a huge piece. It's a yard by 2 yards or something like that. So, and what I intend to do, but it's because I'm using faux leather, to leave like an inch and a half. So it's actually this width, an inch and a half all the way around, but that's only because I'm working with faux leather. If you're using just cardstock, I think 1 inch should be more than enough all the way around. And the other thing I'm going to do, I am going to apply tape all over this, okay, all over. Actually, let's do this now. And I do have, luckily I do have the original score tape, one of those big rolls, if I can get to it. Got so many crafting items in the way. Ta-da! This is the 5-inch, and anytime I need to use it for something, I save the pieces. So I'll have to first remove all these leftovers to get to the real deal. Can tell I don't like wasting, right? But let's be honest, this is so, anything crafting related or any hobby related, it's so expensive, it's not even funny. It's up to us to find ways to save and make sure that we are not going overboard with the finance. Oops, that's the doorbell. I am going to go and answer that, and I'll be right back. So I'm going to take the mic out on this. My husband was quicker. And this piece is still attached, so I'm going to cut it nice and straight. Let me put it somewhere where I know that it's not going to affect anything in case of an accident. Make enough room on the workspace. Give me a second to talk to my husband. And I'm back. So I'm trying to make space so I can apply this tape with confidence. It's not going to be easy. So what I'm going to do is try my best to apply this the right way, of course. Oh boy, I'm so scared. Because once it's down, it's going to be down. And I'll try to apply it some all the way to the other edge. I'm holding it up here so it doesn't glue down on me by mistake. Try and apply it as close as possible to the edge, which is not going to be easy. And of course mine shifted. But again, leave it relaxed. Don't pull on it. Let it sit nice and relaxed. Alright, that's the best I could do. Not bad. I only have like a little bit here. And this will be under the cover anyway. So it should not affect the quality of the project. Let's turn this around and cut it. Okay. Now let's turn it the other way. And let's do the same thing on the other side. The mouse. Put the mouse up here. Because I keep pushing my roll. So I'm holding this up like this. So I'm trying my best to be as close to the edge as possible while not pulling too hard. I want this to be relaxed. Do not stretch it. Okay. Now I'm gonna go and press it down. This kind of created a bit of a bubble, but it's okay because once I remove it, it can be straightened. Okay. Turn it around and got it. Phew. There was something, right? So let's see how I can adjust his here because I didn't press down hard enough for this to glued down. So trying to see if there is a way to get rid of this bubble as much as I can. Okay, that's pretty much about it. The good news, once you remove this paper, because this is just, you know, glue, it will flatten out. Okay. Let's see if I can use some of these pieces. See, it's good to hold on to those pieces. Oh, perfect. Okay. So now I'll be ready to glue this down on the real cover that is going to be the cover for your album. Just wanted to tell you, when you bend these chipboard pieces, the covers, this space becomes part of the spine and not part of the cover, right? So when you are going to have to fold this up, don't fold it here, fold it like something. So don't fold it here towards the spine, I mean where the fold is for the spine, fold it in this fold here. So if I am to do this now, for example, see, this piece here becomes part of your spine. Okay, very important, because this is what you get, how you get your that extra 3/4 of an inch space between 1/2 inch here and the 1/4 of an inch there. So here it's the same. See how I'm trying to create a score line right at the base of the cover, so that becomes part of your spine. Okay, like that. Let's see if I can show you from this point of view. See, this partition is part of your spine and not part of your covers. Just so we are all on the same page there. Okay, I'll see you in the next video when I will have applied this on my huge piece of the faux leather, and I will be able to give you the measurements of the piece of paper or Tyvek or not Tyvek or craft text will you be using for to cover this album. See you in a bit.